Hello, everyone sitting at home in YouTube land. My name is Chris Lumley, President of the Hawaii Cyber Lions Club. Welcome and thank you for joining us on this recording of the Walk to End Alzheimer's, joined by several special guests. But before I allow them to introduce themselves, I want to go over some brief house rules. First, if you have any noise at home, then lucky you can just hit the pause button. We're all in attendance here today and on Zoom with us. If you're not fully dressed for the occasion and you need to step away from the computer, please turn your camera off. And that being said, I have one last request for the YouTube people. One of the biggest requirements of all, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. That said, I'll turn it over to our guests to introduce themselves at this time.
Hi, I'm Tanya Tullis. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist with the Alzheimer's Association here on Oahu. So nice to see y'all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rebecca Halloran. I am the Walk Manager here for the Alzheimer's Association in Hawaii.
Hi, everybody. My name is Peggy Oyama. I'm the Secretary of the Hawaii Cyber Lions Club, and I want to thank the Alzheimer's Association people for speaking to us today.
Hello, and I am Loyal Merhoff. I'm the Treasurer for the Hawaii Cyber Lions Club.
Aloha, this is Chris Aguinaldo, and I'm the Service Chair for the Hawaii Cyber Lions. I want to thank all of you for joining us for this chance to learn. Mahalo.
And that's it. I will let our guest take it away and give us an informative session. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everyone watching. Again, we are speaking from the Alzheimer's Association, and we're here to talk to you a little bit today about Alzheimer's disease, what it is, what that means, the impact it has here in Hawaii, and all the ways that you can help out. So just to reintroduce ourselves again, my name is Rebecca Halloran. I'm the Walk Manager for the Alzheimer's Association. And to start off, I just wanted to let you guys know, here for the walk, we believe that everyone has a connection, whether or not they know it, to Alzheimer's disease. So every participant that participates in our walk receives a flower when they check in, and that flower represents their personal connection to Alzheimer's disease. The blue flower is for those who currently have Alzheimer's or dementia. The orange flower in my background, you'll see, is those who may not have a personal connection, but they support the general mission of a world without Alzheimer's disease. The yellow is for caregivers of those with Alzheimer's or dementia, and the purple represents those who have lost somebody to Alzheimer's or dementia. I walk and I work for the association in honor of my grandmother. She had Alzheimer's for over 14 years, and she lived to be 98. She was my best friend, and so I now carry the purple flower in her memory and in her honor.
I'm Tanya Tullis, the Community Engagement Specialist Coordinator with the Alzheimer's Association, and I'm so glad to be here and give you information about what we do. I have 20 years of experience in long-term care, and I have many hours of counseling. I have a degree in counseling, and I'm just so glad to be here to speak with you guys about what we can do at the Alzheimer's Association.
All right, now some of you may be wondering, what is the association? What do you do? Why is it that you do what you do? And we'll be answering all of those questions. But first, I just wanted to share with you guys our mission. So the Alzheimer's Association is leading the way to ending Alzheimer's disease and all of the dementia. And we do this by being the lead in accelerating global research. We're focusing on risk reduction and early detection. And our other main focus is maximizing quality care and support. So a lot of those programs is what Tanya will touch on later, and that's a lot of what she does. But overall, our vision as an association is to see a world without Alzheimer's and all of the dementia. My goal personally is to see it happen in my lifetime, and I believe that we can do that. So now, to give you guys a bit of background and broad understanding about Alzheimer's and about its impact, I just wanted to touch on a couple points. So Alzheimer's is a progressive brain disease that many of you are unfortunately familiar with, whether you know someone that has it or you've heard of someone that has dealt with its symptoms. So it causes problems with memory, thinking, and behavior. In Hawaii, it's currently the 5th leading cause of death. Nationally, it's the 6th leading cause of death. And a fact that I think is pretty staggering is that Alzheimer's is the only disease in the top 10 deadliest diseases in America that has no known cause and no known cure. It can't be slowed, it can't be prevented, and it can't be cured right now. And if that's just not the scariest thing that you've ever heard, then I don't know what is. It kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. And the number of Americans right now living with Alzheimer's, the number of people in Hawaii particularly living with Alzheimer's, is growing, and it's growing very fast. And this is because the baby boomers are aging. And we found that once people reach 65, there's 1 in 9 people who are 65 and up have Alzheimer's or another form of dementia. So here in Hawaii, we're projecting a 20.7% growth in Alzheimer's, people that are going to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So by 2025, we're going to have about 35,000 people in Hawaii that have Alzheimer's. Now, what that means is that for each person, there's a couple of caregivers, 2, 3, 4 caregivers per person. So there's about 51,000 caregivers, and that will grow. And most of those are unpaid. So that's so many hours of unpaid care. And because of that, nationally, Alzheimer's is the most expensive disease in the country.
And so you think about all those caregivers and all that time that is put into caregiving, and then the emotional toll, and all of the other facets that come along with the caregiving and the impact on families. It's really not just an elderly person or just an issue with one person that has Alzheimer's or dementia. It's very many different dynamics and different facets of the disease and things that can happen within the journey. And so there are about approximately 25% of caregivers that are also caregiving for children under the age of 18. So that's something to think about, as far as the stress that's involved. We know it's very stressful. I know it's very stressful having children, and also I can imagine having also a parent with dementia and caregiving for them. The financial toll of both of those is something that is very taxing. And then talking about the hours of unpaid caregiving, 18.5 billion hours of unpaid caregiving. And so that's valued at $234 billion. So if you were to put a price tag on a caregiver's day and year, just combined all of that is just so much time taken away from their lives. Lots of times that may look like having to retire early or maybe even stop working. There are so many other things too, the emotional impact that goes along with all those things too. And it's a crisis. It's a financially devastating crisis. It is the most expensive disease in the U.S. and by the year 2050, it could cost the nation, I can't even think, like 1.1 trillion. That blows my mind. And like Rebecca said, it's the only disease that doesn't have a cure, and there's no known cause. So that's why the Alzheimer's Association works so hard, fundraising and doing things that you're doing in order to help us find a cure. And in the meantime, how we help, how someone like I would help, and what I do is I help others that are going through this journey. I help people with Alzheimer's. I help caregivers, and I help them with resources that we have. And I'll get into that in just a little bit. But we have advocacy. We actually have a colleague of ours that is on staff that is in charge of advocacy for the Alzheimer's Association. So it's really important that we have that. And he's always wanting people to volunteer. So if that's something that you're interested in that aspect, that's something that we welcome. And we also are able to fund research by all of the walks and all the other fundraisers, TLD, which is another major fundraiser the Alzheimer's Association does. We're able to provide over $167 million for different researches and things like that. I think about 500. I think that's right. I think if I can remember, there's about 500 leading researchers and different things like that that are going on for the cure, finding cures and things like that of Alzheimer's. So what you're doing, even just by volunteering in any aspect that you are with the walk, it is helping every bit. And some other things as far as what we do to help caregivers and those with Alzheimer's is the 24/7 helpline. And that's a great resource, because a lot of times if you're in a crisis, and I don't know if you've ever been in a crisis where you call everybody and nobody's able to answer the phone, nobody's there, and you want an answer, right? You just need someone to talk to. The good thing about the helpline is that it's 24/7. So on Christmas Day, if you're having a family crisis, and who, if you've seen the Christmas Vacation movie, you know that probably it's not Christmas, and holidays are probably not going to turn out as good as you expected. So the 24/7 helpline is a wonderful resource for those. And the folks that answer those are master's level trained clinicians, and they can help you with anything from just minor questions to major things as such as just, I don't know what I'm going to do. I need help. So it's a very good resource. With that said, that's something that we can do too at the Alzheimer's Association. If you just give us a call, we can offer you information and referral. So if you're looking for some kind of information on, okay, where should I look for maybe adult daycares? So we have a resource community finder is what we have. It's called Community Resource Finder, and we're able to provide resources for maybe long-term care facilities or adult daycares, elder law attorneys. We have so many different things that we can offer by putting in your zip code, and it will populate kind of where what you're looking for and what's best fit to your needs. So we also provide care consultations, and a care consultation would be if maybe you're just having a hard time and you just don't know where to begin, and you just don't know what you need. So information or care consultation would be able to kind of help you kind of gather your thoughts and maybe have a plan and figure out where you need to go. Or if you're even someone with Alzheimer's and you just need someone to talk to and to have an understanding of what you're going through with the disease, and ask questions about different facets of the disease. So, and then we have education and training programs, and those are programs that we have every month. Usually we have on Oahu about 3 or 4. We have on other islands also, but they're really good programs. For instance, we're having one on this weekend, tomorrow, on effective communication strategies. So effective communication strategies would be just learning how to talk to someone with Alzheimer's. And if you've ever had a conversation with someone, you know that a lot of times the questions are asked over and over again. So it's learning how to kind of navigate through that. And then we also offer support groups. So on Oahu, we have 4 right now. So all are online right now, but we do hope to have them in person. I think that it's really important to be able to see people in person. The onlines are on Zoom like we have now, which is good. So, okay, and then here's an example of one of the education programs that we're having on the 28th. And it is actually a bingo game. And so it's going to be a presenter is going to be presenting, and then he's going to go through and give the 10 warning signs along with 10 other things to help with Alzheimer's and getting a diagnosis and those type things. So it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's a different way to kind of present an education program. But we do have those just in presentation style, but this was more of a way to kind of get it more interactive and more fun. So a little bit about what we did for when COVID hit. You know, I was just so proud of our executive director, LJ, and also the programs director, Ivy. They were really pushing for us to get out and make sure, not get out because they couldn't, but make phone calls, emails, just to make sure that the people that are isolated, that may be isolated, or maybe having some problems with kind of figuring out what to do. So we were able to serve 3,866 folks all together. So that means we had support groups, and we have programs like I was saying, the education programs. We're able to do that. And then with the COVID check-ins, those were something that we had volunteers help us with. So that was, we would just call just to check in and just to see if they needed anything, if they were doing okay. And we also, for folks that weren't able, we didn't have a phone number for, or we didn't, we couldn't find another way. We only had the address. We would send them a handwritten card and just let them know that we're thinking of them. So we included that also in the check-in. So that was a really good, a good thing that we could do with the help of fundraising. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Tanya. So I'm not sure if Tanya mentioned, but all of the things that the Alzheimer's Association and Tanya's team provides is free. So the care consultations, the classes, the support groups, the education, all of that comes as no charge. And the way that we're able to provide those free programs is by our fundraising campaigns. We have 2 annual fundraising campaigns that we host, the largest of those being the Walk to End Alzheimer's. So for those of you who don't know, the Walk to End Alzheimer's is the world's largest event to raise awareness and funds for Alzheimer's care, support, and research. We have about 600 walks nationwide or here in Hawaii. And I just wanted to highlight our 2020 Hawaii Walk to End Alzheimer's numbers, which blew my mind. I couldn't believe how successful the campaign was. Last year, statewide, we had 214 teams. We had almost 1,500 participants. We raised almost $500,000, and we had over 75 corporate sponsors. So what this tells me is that these numbers were a little smaller than what they were in 2019. Understandably, though, because the walk was virtual, which was a whole new dynamic for everybody. We had an opening ceremony online and little fun virtual games leading up to that online. And then we just asked people to walk in their own neighborhood. So it was very much so a DIY type of event. And yet we still had an incredible turnout and incredible fundraising. So what this also tells me is that even during a time when there is a global pandemic and when people are so impacted, both economically and health-wise, that Alzheimer's is still a main priority for a lot of people. It's still affecting so many people that they are willing to give their time, give their money to help support this cause because it's something that's still so important to them. This is my 4th year being the walk manager, and I have seen the walk grow and grow and grow. And while I'm proud of that and I love that that's happening and love that there's increased participation, you have to think that there's more participation because more people are being affected by Alzheimer's. Every year that number is ticking up. And every year, people that once held yellow flowers like me are losing family members and they're becoming purple flowers. People are more and more getting blue flowers. More and more people are getting Alzheimer's disease. So while these numbers are incredible, it just shows you how much Alzheimer's is growing and how important this cause is. So 2021, our walks are going to be looking a little bit different. We are crossing our fingers and toes and planning for in-person walks again. So just like many of you know and remember, we have big fun in-person walks with tables and tents for sponsors and food and photo booths. And it's, you know, a big non-competitive fun walk where people are decked out in their walk shirts. They carry their flowers. People have posters, you know, honoring caregivers or those that they are walking for. And so we do have 4 walks this year. Our first one on Hawaii Island is on September 18th. Our Kauai walk will be on October 2nd. Our Maui walk is October 16th. And our Oahu walk is going to be on November 6th. So now you guys are probably inspired and you can't wait to go and see what you can do. So you're thinking, what can I do now? How can I help? Maybe you want to volunteer, maybe you want to walk, you want to fundraise, you want to learn more. The first thing I would ask you to do is to register for the walk. It's super easy, it's free. All you have to do is go to alz.org/walk to register. That's going to bring you to a site where you can search for the walk nearest you. So obviously find the walk that's on your island, or maybe you want to travel and beep up around to multiple walks. That's always encouraged. Obviously here, our audience, Lions Club, I would say join the Lions team. We do have one on Oahu right now. It is called Lions with Heart. So feel free to join that Lions team. But if you are inclined to start a team of your own, you are more than welcome to, with family, friends, neighbors, coworkers, whatever you want to do. And obviously on the island of your choosing. As you can see here, our photo of the Lions Club at our 2020 walk, masked up, spatially distanced. Now, when you do register for the walk, we want to make sure that you guys are successful. You know, this event it's heavy for a lot of people. You know, it's a devastating disease. So we want to make sure that you are getting a good experience from it, and that you're having fun, and that you're reaching your goals and feeling like you are positively impacting the world. So we help you in a couple ways. We have these really awesome monthly challenges that we do. We have tons of sponsors that provide us with little goodies and giveaways. So we make all sorts of stuff like hats, tote bags, shirts, and we send that out and do different monthly challenges every month. We've got some great incentive prizes. So when you raise $100, you get, I don't know if you can see it, a walk t-shirt. And when you raise $500, you get another prize. And most importantly, we provide a lot of fundraising tools and templates. So once you register, it's really everything is there for you in terms of, we will show you how to start a Facebook fundraiser, give you templates that you can just directly send out emails asking for donations from family and friends. And all that you'll need to do is just type in their email address. So everything is right there for you. It makes it super easy. So all you've got to do is go to alz.org/walk to register today. So now, obviously, I just wanted to say mahalo to all of you listening. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Alzheimer's disease, about why it is we do what we do, and most importantly, what you can do to help. We are a volunteer-driven organization, so our staff is pretty small, but we have hundreds of volunteers statewide that make this walk happen, and that spread awareness, and that raise money, and that are single-handedly changing the world. And I do believe that we will live in a world without Alzheimer's disease, but we can only do that together. So thank you guys, and be well.
Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Peggy?
Rebecca, could you tell us how much it costs to register for the walk?
Great question, Peggy. The walk is free, which is just another way that, I mean, it couldn't be easier. You sign up, you put in some information, it's free, it's easy peasy. Why would you not do it?
Well, that sounds great, because we have like students who go to high schools, they're called Leo clubs, and maybe the students would be interested because they probably, like you, have to support or know about grandparents and relatives who have Alzheimer's, so they might want to come and join the walk.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wish I had known about it when I was in high school, because I definitely would have joined. I would have loved to be a part of it. Any other questions?
So Rebecca, if the walk is free, how do you raise money with the walk?
Great question. We just encourage donations. So once you register, it does ask if you want to kickstart your campaign with a self-donation. You don't have to, but you can. We find that it sometimes helps inspire your peers if you start off with just a little $10 donation. So then once you're up on the website, they see, oh, Loyal donated to himself. Okay, so then once you send that out to family and friends, they're more inclined because they see that you are financially invested. So they're going to want to support a cause that you've invested in. And like I said, we don't require it, but we encourage you to do Facebook fundraisers, to email out to your family and friends, to Maybe your company offers matching donations. So there's all these kinds of tips and ideas we can give you, especially for people that aren't so comfortable asking for money, or maybe they themselves aren't ready or willing to donate.
Thank you.
You know, I actually had a question too. Yeah. I know on your slide, the impact by numbers, you guys mentioned that you guys had delivered programs. What types of programs you have available in the local communities?
So we have many programs. So as I said, we have a program coming up in the morning. It's effective communication strategies. And that basically is a way to talk story, how to talk story to someone that has dementia. And then on Monday, we're also having another program, and it's called Dementia Conversations. I know that sounds a little bit similar, but it's really different. Dementia Conversations is more of a in the beginning stages, having those initial conversations. What kind of conversations do you think? Well, financial. What kind of finances are in order? Do you even have a diagnosis yet? And getting a diagnosis actually really helps with the rest of those conversations. Another hard one conversation is when to stop driving. So those are some of the things that we'll talk about in the Dementia Conversations piece. And we also have understanding and responding to dementia-related behaviors. That's a really good presentation for folks. Now you think behaviors, is that something that happens with Alzheimer's? And it can. And a lot of times people with Alzheimer's and their loved ones may have a hard time understanding what that communication looks like and how to deal with that. So the behaviors presentation really helps with having different steps and knowing what to expect, maybe knowing the triggers behind what happens. And it really kind of explains that getting down to the root and maybe just validating instead of trying to reason with someone. And so that one is a good one. That's a really interactive one that we do. And we're doing the bingo presentation, which involves the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's. So that's a good one that we do. We do healthy living for your brain and body. That's always a good one for just the general public. And it has 4 different facets of things that we do at the Alzheimer's Association that we believe are ways to prevent the risk of Alzheimer's. And we do have others. There's a lot of information, that we do have a lot of other programs that we offer. Those are the ones that are developed by national. And we do also programs that are more chapter developed too, that may be a little bit more geared towards our community. I know during Christmas we did one that was learning how to deal with behaviors and things like that during the holidays. So thank you for that question, Chris.
Another one that I think is really important is the financial and legal planning, because I think that's something it's not on the health side of Alzheimer's and it's not on the communication side, it's on the legal and financial planning, which is such a huge aspect that is so overwhelming for people. And I know it was for my family, and I'm sure it is for many of your guys's. So that one's really, really important as well.
That's a good one too that we have. That's a very good. We have different legal and financial. You think about what that entails. So there are many different things that entails. Maybe Medicaid, maybe Medicare. So this is a very good one too, Rebecca.
So I noticed. Thank you for showing those photos of the Lions from the Lions Club of Honolulu who volunteered last year. And you said that you're hoping that the walk this year will be in person. We're with the Lions Club, and the Lions are the world's largest service organization. Are there opportunities, or is there maybe an email address that people could contact if maybe the Lions Club wants to volunteer at your event? And even throughout the year, if there's something that you would like, if there's an email address or somewhere you want to refer them to. And a second part of this question is, also, would you be willing to give a talk to a Lions Club? Lions Clubs generally, when they have their meetings, right now it might be via Zoom, but they might have guest speakers. And generally, I think the talks might range from 15 minutes, maybe half an hour max. But is that something where Lions clubs could approach you folks to have you speak to them?
Yes, definitely. We are always open to talks. I mean, everything that we do is to help increase awareness, not just to raise money, but so that people can have, the educational opportunities and have the support that they need. So we can, tailor our talk to any group. So any Lions Club, we're always open to do it. I'm more than happy to talk about fundraising, volunteering. Tanya's more than happy to talk about the different educational opportunities that she can offer. If a club wants to have like a health and wellness focused thing and do a 30-minute, deep dive on understanding Alzheimer's and dementia, or the 10 warning signs, or the legal and financial planning, Tanya's more than happy to do that. And if you guys just want to learn about the walk and about Alzheimer's in general, I'm more than happy to do that. As for day of, and the day before, actually, because it's a whole thing to set up, we love having the Hawaii Lions come and volunteer. It takes a lot to, set up the chairs, the tables, the tents, all that. The day before and the morning of, we get there bright and early at like 4 a.m. So we love having the Lions come and volunteer for that. And we also need volunteers year round in general to help plan the whole thing. So if you guys want to join our walk planning committee, we only meet once a month and it's really fun. Peggy's on it, Chris is on it. I would say the easiest email for me to share with you over this virtual platform is alohainfo@alz.org. alohainfo@alz.org. So if you guys email that with any requests for speaking opportunities, education, volunteering, walk questions, shoot it all there.
I just had to kind of follow up to what you were just saying, Rebecca, or more of a question actually. During this talk you guys gave us, I certainly hear a lot about what you guys do as far as being in the community goes and how you can help. But I'm kind of curious, as the Lions organization, aside from things like helping fundraise and participate in the walk and helping with the walk, like you mentioned, what else can Lions do to help you guys out, year round in other aspects, whether it be on the programmatic side or any type of the day-to-day things? Because I noticed not only in our club but in other clubs, we have some real gems. Some people with real specialized types of knowledge and experiences, and I think maybe they might be you might pique their interest to be involved in the cause that does this, but also by contributing an expertise or some knowledge that may not be whether it be scientific related or something like that. If you guys could kind of
Yeah, Rebecca, you want me to say something about that, or?
Yeah, you go first, then I can tally on at the end.
So with programs and things that I help with, I do have volunteers that will give education programs. It's something that we would prefer that volunteers be able to deliver all of those. With COVID and all the things happening with that right now, where we've kind of pulled back on that. But that's definitely something that an education program is something that a volunteer could do. It's something that could be trained on. Also, support group facilitators is another place that we could use volunteers. All of our support groups are volunteer led. So if that's something that you feel that you have a heart for, or you feel like you're a good fit, that's something that we would be interested to know.
And I'll just add on, I think that there is a role for everybody who comes from any industry and any background and any talent. And here's why: because if you're someone who wants to get involved in advocacy, obviously we have an advocacy route. We advocate on the federal level and the state level. If you're interested in that avenue, there you go. If you are someone who maybe has any sort of medical background, you can help out on Tanya's side and deliver educational programs. Even someone who has, a legal background, they can help out and do those types of educational programs. And if you're someone that it comes from any industry, whether you are a marketing guru, whether you're a writer, there's always something that you can contribute. For each of our volunteer committees, we have marketing, sponsorship. We need people that maybe have corporate connections. We need people that are, well connected in the community. We need people that are willing to make phone calls. We need people who just are able to, maybe fundraise. There's always an avenue for somebody in the association, and we can find that. Or if you're someone that just wants to do, handmade cards or just wants to send out emails, there's always something. And I think just beyond what we do on the day-to-day, it's that we have, those connections with so many senior living facilities. There's always some way that you can contribute to them and those Kapuna in need through us. We're all just working together to help each other. So roundabout way of saying there's a place for everybody and a role for everybody.
And for anybody who wants to get involved, Rebecca, please help me out. What's that email address again?
Oh yes, alohainfo@alz.org.
And further to what you just said, Rebecca, does the Alzheimer's Association also go out and do, say, public forums or something where you might have a booth somewhere where you might want Lions to come and help you with the booth, etc.? Is that something you would consider?
Okay. We have, we go in normal times. We're at health fairs, senior fairs, all that. We try and get involved in any sort of like media presence. We'll try and do a walk, something. So we try and get out there as much as we can. And a lot of that is, again, that we just need to push that awareness. So if anyone has connections or an opportunity for the Alzheimer's Association to come and have that table or come and speak, please share it with us, because we're just here to spread the word and help as many people as we can.
And are you a 501c3 organization? And if I donate, can I get a tax receipt?
Yes, good question. Yes, we are. We are a 501c3 national organization, and you will get a tax receipt upon your donation. It'll be mailed to you a couple weeks after.
And you mentioned that there are 4 walks on all islands. So do you know if there are Lions teams on those islands?
Yes, we do have a Lion on our walk committee on Maui. And we do have the Lions clubs on Maui always help out. They have a huge turnout and help out with setting up the morning of and the day before, which is always great. We're always like, yes, the Lions are here. And I believe we've had Leos come as well and help out on Maui.
So do the Leos have their own team?
They do not yet, but they will, maybe if they see this video or if I reach out to them in the next few months. And then we're looking definitely for more support on Kauai, Big Island, and then obviously on Oahu, because there's much more potential on Oahu, and I know we haven't tapped into everyone that we can. And I know this topic and this event probably touches a lot more people than we have so far.
Great. Anybody? Any other questions? Anyone?
I'm sure I'll think of something afterwards because my memory's not so good anymore.
No, I'd like to just ask one question. Either one of you can answer. All right. You had mentioned a lot about families. It is a family experience. But with the longevity of life here in Hawaii, what's like the typical age frame where someone could start developing these symptoms? Just because, like you mentioned, there's still a need for helping people, but when would symptoms start to arise, and what are just some things we can look for? And maybe that's something that we can look at our families too, and if we need more information, contact you.
Yeah, so that's a good question. We have an education class on that is the 10 warning signs and what to expect and what to look for. So you may think, I'm forgetting my keys lately. Now, is this something that has been all throughout your life, or is this more frequent? You want to look at the signs that it happens, and if it's a little more than it has been, maybe it could be, maybe not. But first thing you want to do is try to get to a doctor and see if that is something that they can look at in order to diagnose. Now, with Medicare, you don't look old enough to need Medicare, but they do offer a free wellness check each year. And that way you can kind of keep track each year of where your memory is. And the wellness check is kind of like a memory test. So that's something that is offered. But the first thing you want to do if you have questions is just ask a doctor. I would think, if you have any concerns. But you can also check with us too, and either come to one of the programs or just ask for information and resources. We can help you.
And I will add on to that just to give you a figure. So as I mentioned, 1 in 9 people over the age of 65 have Alzheimer's or another dementia. And it gets, in smaller and smaller increments the more that ages. So on 75, it's 1 in 6. Over 85, it's 1 in 3. So that point you have to think around maybe 65 is going to be that part where you're starting to dwindle down to how many people you know as you age that are getting Alzheimer's and dementia. What's interesting about Alzheimer's is that it actually starts building up in your brain, I believe up to 20 years before you're actually starting to see symptoms appear. And one of the big issues that we're seeing with Alzheimer's is that we're not getting enough early diagnoses. I can't even say that. So it's that people aren't coming in early enough. And if you're catching it at mid-stage, it's someone it's already too late. And the issue is that we have 5 FDA approved drugs that treat these symptoms, but most of them treat the symptoms that are for mild to maybe moderate. So it's a lot of these early symptoms. But if we're not getting that in time, and you're getting someone in their mid 70s or 80s who gets that diagnosis, there's not a lot yet that we can do. And I know that happened to my family. It's that if we had known this was happening to my grandma in her 50s, 60s, by the time we knew, she was in her 80s and none of the drugs worked and there was just nothing that we could do. So having these conversations, spreading that awareness, and really starting to think about this in 50s, 60s is when I believe it would be most important for you.
And also with that, just making sure that you are healthy and not smoking, and making sure that you're doing all of the things that are necessary in order to keep the risk down.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, Rebecca, Tanya, thank you for educating us and educating the YouTube community. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them in front of us right now, but
they're there. Just can't see them.
Thank you so much, guys, for your interest in doing what you do, and just helping us with spreading the word.
Yeah, thank you, Lions. You guys are making the world a better place, so we appreciate you.
Thanks.
Bye.
This concludes the recorded portion. YouTube community, again, if you haven't hit that like button, you might want to. It's nice. It's a good feeling. And if you want to volunteer for the Alzheimer's Association, Lion, Rebecca, what's that email address again?
Aloha info@alz.org.
Thank you.
Can't hear it enough.